Hey everyone, welcome to Limitless Radiocast, episode 76. Hanging out with the amazing Amy Campo today, just fresh off 2022 ADCC Women's 60 Plus World Champion. We get into some of Amy's background, life in general, all kinds of great conversation. We have a really fun time with Amy, and we are so thankful that we had this opportunity to hang out with her. So we want all of you to throw your headphones on, turn that volume up, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. We'd also like to thank all our friends who help and support Chad and I do this show each and every week. Magic City Brewing Company located in Akron, Ohio. LimitLess Tape, M&H Beans, Gateway Dental Care, Hoist IV Level Hydration, Lashley Nutrition Supplements and Supplies, Thomas Webb from D. Hoff Realtors, Lanky Fight Gear, Red Tail Tattoo Company, Candry Law LLC, and last but not least, James Klingerman's BJJ Foundation. Check them out for amazing BJJ techniques, help, and instructionals. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. So we're going to try this again because I had a technical difficulty. Chad and I did about a week ago, and thank God we reached back out to Amy because I lost a big chunk of the show, unfortunately, and she came back. So as you all know, we're hanging out with Amy Campo. She is the ADCC champion, female 60 plus 2022. She is also a black belt under Eduardo Mori. She represents Team Zenith out of Utah. So without further ado, and to keep going down rabbit holes, because we can't create what we've already talked, because everyone out there knows that we do organically and all that. But you know what? We're going to do our best shot here. So Amy, thanks so much for coming back. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
And it's great to see you on this gloomy day, as I said, here in Ohio. You're in Utah. You said the weather is perfect. So how is your day going then so far?
Good.
Train this morning?
I did not actually. I had a quiz I had to go into school and to take, and I did very well on it.
Nice, good job.
I took a nap because I studied a lot for it yesterday.
Very good. What are you studying in school?
So my undergrad is athletic therapy or rehabilitation sciences, and then I'm going to be going to graduate school for physical therapy.
Very cool. Very cool. Do you get to do some or have you gotten to do some internship in physical therapy or?
Oh yeah. I've worked in physical therapy for 5 years.
Nice. Okay. Nice. Very cool. Very cool. I was going to say, doing what you do as a professional athlete, I'm sure you're around a lot of stuff that you get to see all the time as well.
Yeah. I like it because then it gets to, I can tie a lot of it in with jiu-jitsu, and I can learn about how to take care of myself, take care of my team. And actually my boss, he trains at the gym too. And he's one of my sponsors. So we've got a great thing going on.
Oh, that's awesome. Very cool. Yeah. Hey, we've said it a million times. I've said it in my lifetime of going. It always helps to know people in businesses and in things that you do in your life, because the prime example, you build a great relationship. And then you also can, you benefit from that from both ways. You're training at the same place, but you're also furthering your education, with the people that this individual that you're, know, and so on and so forth. So very cool. Awesome. So a week ago, everyone, we actually asked Amy about her amazing interview right after she won the gold medal at ADCC. ADCC. I don't know why I said that, but it's ADCC, everybody. And so she talked about, my brain is completely fried, is it not, Chad? I just was complaining to Chad about how much work I've done in the last 2 days, and I'm still not done. Anyway, I apologize, everyone out there. So Amy had an amazing interview with Kenny Florian as soon as she was done, and talked about elevating her teammates, which in turn elevate her, as well as being with Team Zenith since the very beginning. And I'm assuming she will always be with Team Zenith no matter what, just from hearing that. And obviously the conversation that we had a week ago that no one else gets to remember or listen to, because only Chad and I do, and Amy, of course. So Amy, we asked you about that. When you say elevating your other teammates, what perspective would you put on that? Could you elaborate on that for me?
Yeah. So I think it's unfair if they've spent so much of their time and made their own sacrifices to be consistent, to train with me, to be patient and train me. and to support me when I am struggling the most in training and push me to a new level. If they're providing that service to me and I do not do something back for them, that would be the biggest, I don't know what kind of person you would call that, a freeloader, a jerk, a douche. I don't know.
All of it.
All of it. Yeah. All of it, for sure.
I just remember when I gave my speech, that was the first thing, because I didn't have anything planned for it. That was just the first thing I felt, and the first thing I thought is that I was so grateful to them for doing that to help me, because they didn't have to. They didn't have to be that consistent. They didn't have to be there with me through all of it to push me and support me, and they chose to. And I feel so much of a connection and so much of a love for them. And so that is my goal. And that is how you raise a team as well. Like, if there's just you, how are you going to practice jujitsu? You do jujitsu with your team.
Yeah.
You can practice on the air, but that's kind of weird. And I'm sure you get all weird looks, but
yeah,
it just means something to me that they were there for me, and I want to be there for them just the same way that they were. And I think too, that the way you train has a lot to do with how well you're going to perform. And I had some really great advice one time from Drysdale about raising the bar for my teammates and teaching them how to beat me. So I raised the bar for myself that way. Yeah. So in that way, both of us are growing incrementally and we're going up together. And that's what I want. I want to grow with my team, because these are the people who have proven they're with me. And I've proven I'm with them. And I kind of think about, it makes sense when you're struggling in jiu-jitsu, or when you've reached the landmark of, okay, I can beat everybody at my gym, or I can fight hard against everybody at my gym. You're looking for a new way to challenge yourself. And I feel like a lot of people, they feel like they need to go to a new environment and a new place with new bodies. And that makes sense. All of this newness does put you in a spot where you're like, I need to change. I need to adapt and to learn more.
For sure.
But I remember seeing a post in the elevator when I was at ADCC, and it said something along the lines of, people travel a lot of different places to have a new experience and see different things. But it also said with that, this is not coming out super well, but
it's coming out great.
You can go new places to get a new experience, or you can be where you are and see with new eyes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And that's what I do in training, is that I want to address my training with new eyes, with new perspectives, with new goals, with new prerogatives. Think about Hickson Gracie. What's Hickson Gracie? Who's he going to leave his gym and go train with after he beats everyone at his gym?
Right. Exactly.
Where does he go?
Yeah.
So obviously there's a way you train and you learn where you can keep your team, you can keep your principles and still be progressing at phenomenal levels.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. We can 100%. Say that about, look at Gordon.
He was in my head I was like, he's always been with
probably
John
the perfect
forever.
current. Yeah. The perfect current example of that. Right. Like, but very many impressive things on how you said that, Amy, in that speech. And I know we talked about it. For one, winning the biggest tournament of your life and be able to have that type of mindset and articulate what you did was amazing. And like I said before, loyalty is huge to me, staying with the team and growing together, and teaching, like you said, like I tell my students all the time, I want you to beat me. I want you to tap me. That's my goal as an instructor. I know I'm doing my job, right? Yep. And there's many good things about ADCC, a lot of favorite matches, but to me, your speech was my favorite part. And I told you, I shared it with our team. I texted people. I put it in our group. I said, if you watch one video today, this is the video you need to watch. So
thank you.
Got me a little teared up. Us jiu-jitsu guys are getting emotional sometimes.
Hey, Chad, you and I've talked about this before. Like, honestly, in our community, when good stuff's put out there, like it's hard when you can read something or hear something, like you said, Amy, at that point in time, because it was off the cuff. It was like, it was in the moments, and it was pure. And that is the most purest thing in our community when you get stuff like that. It's like having a roll and you're done and you're like, wow, that was the flow, just like it was pure, just fun jujitsu, great, I feel great type deal. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like when, to go back, and I actually, I watch it quite off and on, just because I just always want to be reminded, like, there are people that think that way.
Well, I think in today's jiu-jitsu, and, you know, there's reasons maybe to leave the team and you move and there's situations, right? But I also think that loyalty is not what it once was, right? Everybody wants, you know, I've outgrown this gym because, again, I'm beating everybody and I need that challenge. And they're not looking at, you know, in the big world of jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of big teams out there, and there's a lot of probably, hey, come over here and, you know, you can win this, or, you know, they look for team titles and all that, and, you know, what goes on behind the scenes. But I just think, and I've heard other famous instructors, you know, with the loyalty thing, like, well, you're the one paying that membership, right? You don't owe them anything. You don't owe them the loyalty, you know? So I don't know. So.
Oh, I thought you stopped and I was looking down at Amy and then you didn't say anything, Chad. And I was like, oh, he's done talking.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Did anyone else on your team? Did anyone else, not on your specific team, did any of your coaches or anyone respond to you personally? You don't have to like give me details or talk about it, about that speech in general.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They were, my coach, of course, Eddie, he was with me the whole time, so he didn't have to.
Sure. Right. He was there. Right.
I could see everything I needed to know from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the head of the affiliation, Robert Drysdale, he sent me a voice message personally and was like, I could have planned a speech for 3 weeks. And I couldn't have said it the way you said it. I'm so glad you're a part of the affiliation. Like, this is what we represent, and you represent so well. And I'm so glad for you and for what you did. And I was like, wow. Yeah,
Robert's he's a good dude too. We've had him on the show. And he's a very, obviously, you know this, but he's a great guy in my opinion. I mean, and I love his history speaking. Obviously that's his background, and he has, you know, a lot of education in history and stuff like that. But I found it very fascinating just to sit down and talk with him for, you know, an hour or so about that in general. I like to go down those rabbit holes once in a while of digging deep into like, hey, where's this come from? Or why is this happen? Or who invented this? Not that I care. I want no lividity of why. I just like to know, you know what I mean? It's like, it's cool. Like good. And if someone's like, no, I didn't do it, or they did it. And I'm like, it's all right, man. Like, just calm down. Like, everyone's using it, so I don't really care. I just want to know, like, type deal.
I watched my speech just the other day, and I remember thinking, when I was in the middle of it and I was saying, I liked jiu-jitsu because it's something to put my mind to, put my energy to, so that I wasn't doing other things that weren't productive, wasting time. I remember stopping myself from saying something I thought right there. Instead of saying, like, doing things that weren't productive, I was thinking of kids who are on the street who are getting into trouble and who are doing no good with their life because they don't have something to put themselves to. And I kind of changed how I said that there because I was trying to be more appropriate, and that wasn't exactly my situation. You know, I don't think I would have been up to no good, but like, I had something good to put myself to, so that wasn't even a chance for me. And when I said that, that's what I was thinking, is that I want those kids or people who don't have an outlet in something good in their life. I wish they could have this. That's who I was thinking of when I was saying.
And you're, I mean, 100% right. Like, obviously we talk jiu-jitsu on the show, and everyone that listens most likely trains in jiu-jitsu. And if you don't, we've said it before, I'll say it again, please go find a local gym, try it out. You'll fall in love with it. Make sure it's a gym that people actually care about you and the atmosphere is set strong right when you walk through the door. That will make a huge difference and impact on you getting on the mats with teammates, and it will change your life. I can't say it enough. Beat the drum to death on this. I will forever the rest of my life, because it changed my life. I actually, after I got promoted to blue belt, Amy, and just telling you this, I got promoted to blue belt, and I put a post out there on social media about how I spent most of my life angry and pushing myself in anger to be better at everything. And over the last 2.5 years, when I started jujitsu, that all changed. Like it all, and it was weird. And I can explain it to people in our community and my teammates and stuff, and they can understand it because they know what it's like. To explain it to people outside, it's very, very difficult for them to understand. Wait, like, we knew you were always mad. Like, and I'm like, no. Like, I was never angry at people. I was just always angry driven at myself. Like, you can do better. You can be better. You know, you have to do this. You got to do this. And, you know, I did that forever. I'm 45 years old now. As long as I can remember, I did that. And jiu-jitsu changed that for me. Like, it was, you know, like, and you both know this. I'm speaking to the choir here of two people that are, you know, black belts, and you're, Amy, you're a high competitor and a high level black belt as well. So
thank you.
I'm just spatting off on my little random jiu-jitsu's awesome, everybody. Hey, when you compete at a high level like that, and you're done, for instance, you're done, let's say completely, because I would feel this is probably something that happens when you're completely done. Is there an adrenaline dump?
Like where I want to eat food or go straight to sleep?
Or just kind of like everything, like, like
a breath out.
And you both know this. I mean, Amy, you know, like adrenaline, like you feel like you're in it, like you're getting after it. You're going, you're super excited. And then afterwards, like it's all done. Let's go.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, they're in a way, like a lot of times after I compete, I feel like hyped. I feel like energized and excited. I may not feel like my body's not tired, but
sure.
I'll feel like, I'll feel like a little Energizer bunny because I'm excited and we're done. I'm relieved. But yeah, I would say it's more like you're relieved that you don't have to hold yourself to as much focus and attention as you needed to be prepared to fight. And, you know, you're not preparing to feel a level of pain from like drive. So you're like, oh, okay, I'm good. I'm safe. I can relax now. So yeah, that is pretty common for after tournaments. I don't know how much I felt that after ADCC though. I know after Gabby, I felt a little relieved, but I didn't let myself relax at all because I knew I wasn't done.
Sure.
I didn't want to fall into that little trap of getting too relaxed. So I didn't celebrate after Gabby. Maybe relaxed for like 5 minutes or like walked around for 5 minutes or something, but I didn't relax.
Sure.
But then not even after the finals with Rafaela, I think I told you guys last time about the perspective shift I had and that I ended up coming into the fight so excited and so ready to engage in the fight that I started having so much fun when I was competing. And I felt like when I was done competing, my level of happiness actually kind of went down a little bit because I was having so much fun. I remember you. Yeah, I remember. And I was like, oh, like, I want to go again.
Can I go again?
Yeah.
that hasn't happened very many times. Just then, where it was like, oh, I want to. Like I've wanted to go again after fights before, but never have I been like, oh, I feel slightly de-elevated.
Sure. Yeah.
Is there any difference, Amy, with doing? So in ADCC, especially when you get to those 2 days or that second day, it seems like there's more downtime than a regular tournament, right? If you're doing a regular tournament, depending on your bracket, you might have a couple, you know, I don't know if it's 10 minutes in between matches or whatever it might be. So, you know, a lot of people will lose that sweat and cool down. And then it's like, man, I got to get warmed up again. Did that affect you all at all? Or do you see much difference?
Yeah, so there is a difference. Really organized tournaments, like, like down to like 30 minutes when you're fighting, so you know exactly when to prepare. Local tournaments, though, that are less organized, you can be waiting 5 hours for your fight too.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
That happened to me one time. It really sucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, yep. So there's this whole, and I knew I've done the process before, so I knew to expect that there's gonna be this time where I'm gonna okay, I'm not gonna be doing anything for a while. I'm gonna cool down. I'm gonna have to re-warm up. I think, yeah, there's a lot of time in between, and I just anticipated it. I was ready for it.
Just ready.
It wasn't so bad.
Do you guys eat between matches or
You
snack or anything?
You can. Depends on how close your matches are.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I ate like a bagel and a banana or something in between the finals.
That would be, so I used to run a lot, and that would be something like, I would hit bagel or a banana before I went and ran a half marathon or a marathon or whatever. And then that would be it, because it's all one. I can't even
imagine doing that. I'm a hobbyist at best in teaching classes during the week, and I'm so structured. Like, I know classes at 7:30 every night, and I have to eat by 2 or 3, and I won't eat again until after I get home from class, just because I don't like the way it makes me feel when my stomach's full and I roll and teach. And so I'm very structured on my eating when it comes to that.
I am too, like with jujitsu, I never eat until after I get home from training.
Yeah. The only time that I snack a lot before training and during training. But I learned to do that when I was dieting and cutting weight a lot. Mm-hmm. I just needed a little bit of a snack to help me get through class with a bit of energy.
Right.
But there's a certain amount and there's a certain time window that you have to eat just a little bit of certain things. Otherwise, you're going to get all messed up.
Yeah, I can imagine. I always wonder, people have weigh-ins and then they go kill some serious food. And I'm like, how do you even function? I could not function.
If it's same day weigh-ins, I totally agree. Yeah. I don't know how.
Yeah. I could see next day, cause you get that sleep time on it and all that. But oof.
At ADCC, the guys had to weigh in every day.
Did they really? They had to make weight every day.
Really?
Yeah, there was a kilogram allowance on Sunday though. So after the next day, but yeah, they were like, what? Why do we have to weigh in every day? But,
man, that's tough. I mean, they got to stick to that hard regiment then, whatever they're doing. Yeah. Amy's like, I didn't have to do that.
I'm fighting open weight, so I can eat whatever I want.
Whatever I want.
Hey, do you think they'll change that with with it getting bigger and bigger? I mean, 2024 maybe, adding a new weight class,
like another women's class
or another women.
Yes. Mo put in to ask for a third women's weight category. Nice. So he wanted to do it for this tournament, but couldn't do it for this tournament. So we'll see about 2024.
Nice. That's
so many people complained about it. I think they got the picture.
Yeah. And with it growing, with jiu-jitsu growing as it is, I mean, I'm obviously biased, even though I'm super young and, in the community, I'm still biased. I think it's growing pretty quickly. And obviously you two can allude to that because you have way more time and experience than I do.
I mean, just with the 2 weight classes there are now, under 60 and over 60, you could probably have a decent amount of girls that could fill that other weight class, right?
Because, I think so.
You know what I mean? Because most of them are probably a tweener in between anyway, or could be, depending on what they want to do, or how much weight they want to cut.
Sure.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that in pounds for men. That's 140 above and below 140. If that was the men's division, would that not be outrageous?
It would be.
There's a huge difference between a 145-pound man and 175, and then another one between 175 and 195. There's a huge difference there. And then going over that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Physically,
it's
alone,
just different.
Just in size, it's just astronomically different. And not that it's not for you women either. I mean, there are definitely a ton of matches that you see and you're like, oh, wow. Okay. This is a huge difference in person.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, for instance, when they did the walkout, when you guys did the brackets, and you guys walked out and on the stage for ADCC, I remember Gabby coming out and everyone, please excuse me, I do not remember her first opponent. But she was a tiny girl.
Mickey Lloyd Griffiths.
Oh, okay. There you go. See, this is why we have Amy in the back pocket right here to pull names out. But she was significantly smaller than Gabby. And I was like, wow, and I get it. It's like here and above, but good night. I was like, this might as well just be an absolute division. Like really, truly it is.
Yeah, that's what it is for sure.
Yeah. So
yeah. I had one of my friends. Oh, my dad did this too. He was like, are you going to fight in the absolute too? Like, and I was like, oh, they don't have one of those for women. And he's like, that's bull crap. They should have an absolute for women. I was like, oh wait, actually I am in the absolute. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
And not to say like, I mean, let's be honest, Gabby's bigger than 90% of the women that competed anyway. Like even you two, like when you two shake it or fist bumped when you first started, it's like, oh, well, here we go. Like, let's see what's going to happen. Come on, Amy, let's go. And then obviously, hey, does the crowd play a big difference versus other tournaments that you've ever done? Like as in man, there's nothing like 40,000,
atmosphere,
20,000 people screaming for you or just screaming in general. Does that help?
I think, yes, the atmosphere, you can feel the atmosphere significantly different than most tournaments. I think the trials was probably the most similar, but there is so much atmosphere. It's a little bit more similar to like when you're walking out to an MMA fight.
Okay.
The atmosphere is a little bit more similar, but not quite the same because there's still a couple other like mat spaces next to you. So yeah, there's just more. Personally, though, when I compete, I don't even
block it out. Really?
Yeah, it's just not even a thing. Like they're out, and on occasion I might hear my coach, but in this case, I did notice that. Like I'll notice, but I won't necessarily like it doesn't affect me. But in this case, they were cheering for me, so I was like, hey, cool. That's kind of nice.
Yeah. Like I said last week, when you went out of bounds and you were relentless and you didn't stop, which one of my big things of watching ADCC, I love. Obviously, I've watched old videos of it, but this was my first time ever to watch it live, or not live. Anyone out there, as I joked before, if you want to take Chad and I to ADCC in 2024, we're willing to go.
We did watch it live, not in person. We did
watch it. Yes, we watched it live, just not in person. But you were relentless. Like when you went, you completely, I mean, shoot, what I said, a week ago, you guys ended at the ramp, at the edge of the ramp. Like you're on the side corner of the ramp and you're like in armbar, and then you weren't letting go until the ref was like, all right, let's go reset or whatnot, back into the mat. Or I think it was over after that. Was it over after that?
Yeah, it was. I stood up and they were telling me we were going to go to overtime. And I was like, okay, wait, what? Did I not get any points for that? Like we were on the outside for a while. I'd be really surprised. And then he was like, oh, wait, let me go talk to them. Told the guy in front of the scoreboard to move out of the way. And then they put points up and then, nice. It was over. I don't know. So we went off the mat and I didn't hear him say stop at all. Or if he did once and I didn't hear it, he didn't say it again. So I was just like, well, keep going. Fight's not over. And I remember I watched the video again later, and I remember one of the table men even ran to the ref and was like, hey, ref, like it's done. Stop the fight. I think maybe even he was watching the fight so much that he didn't realize that time was called. Yeah.
And I can see that with as big as an event that was and is. There's a lot of commotion going on. It was very intense. It was very exciting, obviously, from a perspective, from a fan's perspective. And so I can see that you're in the moment. Like it is up to them to be the class act referees and judges that they are to stop it physically. If they have to not grab you, but put your, hey, stop, like not just voice it like, hey, we got to stop, because you guys are in it. You're in it to win it, bad cliche to say there, but it is true, and it should be that way.
No, yeah, that's the name of the game. That's how it is.
Don't have to just keep going. It's like, it's just kind of funny when I think about it. I'm like, so when I was a kid, I used to watch wrestling all the time, and I loved it when they went out into the crowd over the thing. And I was like, ADCC has brought some childhood love back for me.
Like the Khabib fight, right? Khabib Conor McGregor.
Oh yeah.
Climbing in the back of the cage.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was amazing for sure. Speaking of MMA, are you going to, I think we talked about this a little bit about a week ago. Are you gonna maybe make that transition, or are you not going to?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We've never had any ambitions to be like big UFC fighter or whatever. I just never wanted that.
Yeah.
You're a great jiu-jitsu fighter. You don't need to be.
Well, I'm just going to say, I think some jiu-jitsu people do that out of a need, right? Maybe it's money or whatever that may be to kickstart their career. You've done that. I mean, you won gold at the biggest tournament in the world. So you don't need to do that. You can concentrate on your jiu-jitsu. And to me, that's even better.
Yeah, for sure.
I would be more proud of one of my students for winning what you did than winning a UFC championship,
Wow.
To me, just being a jiu-jitsu guy, a pure, in love jiu-jitsu guy.
Gotcha. I was like, does it really seem that magnitude to everyone?
I'm sure it's, not to the normal person, but none of us are normal.
No, no one in the jiu-jitsu community is normal. I tell people that jokingly outside of jiu-jitsu. I'm like, there's something a little wrong with us, or a little off with all of us. There's something in us. Like, who wants to go and do this and let people sweat on you and be sweaty on the top of each other? And I get those questions all the time. And I'm like, but it's the greatest thing in the world. I don't even.
Not MMA, Amy, but would you do the combat jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun. I really like MMA. I love training MMA. It helps so much with like base aggression, pushing the pace, like this relentless urgency to complete the match. Like I really like that.
Controlling space so you don't get punched. That I think it probably helps your control a lot more too.
And training that way is so much more practical. Like it's practical in regards to like self-defense to a fight. Like it's taking into consideration all aspects of a fight. And I like that. I like the practicality behind that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you fall in love with it like instantly when you started, Amy?
Jiu-jitsu or MMA?
Yeah. Oh, jiu-jitsu.
Yes. Just, I don't know. I latched on to something that could teach me, something that I could be, something that I had an opportunity to try. Like I just latched onto it. I learn really well. I can mimic really well. And so I could just be something. And who wouldn't learn to love that?
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah. 100% for sure. And you knew, I mean, talking to you before, and that and I've, said this before, your mindset to me is you're light years ahead of what people at your age, and not everybody, but your mindset, your thinking process of how to learn, how to teach, how to accept, how to deflect, all that. Like someone at your age doesn't really have always the experience, or things happen to them. Like, so you clearly speak in that terms of, from elevating your teammates, wanting to elevate them, wanting them to be better for yourself, and also be, successful in everything that you're doing. And Terry doesn't remember where I was going with that, but I just wanted to say it. That you are light years ahead in the way that you think. And we talked about this before, like you want to travel, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it would be so neat to go on tour with seminars, and I would love to share jiu-jitsu and the things I've learned with people. And also when I go, to learn about the people that I'm meeting, so that I can become a more well-rounded individual, and so that I can be less ignorant about the world. I would love to have that experience. I think it'd be fantastic.
When you say ignorant of the world, is it because you're young? You haven't traveled a lot? Would that be why you say that?
I could say that for a couple reasons. I'm young, I'm American. That's a stigma for Americans.
Yeah, for sure. That's good.
I think closed-minded people are ignorant. People who act like there's nowhere else and just what you are and what you see is the way everything is and should be. And I don't want to be that way at all.
So that solidifies why I just said your mindset is light years ahead of, because I say this all the time. If you choose to close yourself off, then you're ignorant, because you're not allowing yourself to blossom and or learn.
Or would you call it insolent at that point because you're consciously making a choice to not learn?
It's a very good question, because there are a lot of people that do make that choice, and it's almost out of stubbornness too.
Yeah.
Of holding themselves, and you hold yourselves back. I tell people all the time, like, don't hold yourself back. You're selling yourself short. Like, look at what you can learn. Look what you should bring in. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Yeah.
You're going to say something. Yes. I want to hear it.
It makes me excited to think about, because when people close themselves off, they close themselves off to the opportunities and the possibilities they have to create. And each tournament I do, I realize just how much of an ability I have and everybody has to create exactly what they want here. There are so many opportunities, and like, you can do it. Like, it is doable. If you get a plan and you put your mind, heart, soul to this plan, you will do the things you're wanting to do. And you're even able to do the things you didn't imagine you could do. When you realize that, even in the smallest glimpse of that perspective, you feel, this is how I felt when I first felt it. This is a funny word. I felt disinhibited. That's the word I thought of. I felt like nothing could stop me. I felt limitless.
Hey, there you go.
And it was the best thing ever. And I think too, once you realize that, it is perfectly natural and normal to be scared, because that amount of possibility is intimidating, as goes with the work that you don't even know to anticipate you're going to need to do that. Those things are intimidating. But like Grant Cardone says, though, if it's not making you scared, it's not a big enough goal.
Exactly. And I have used that. And you're not pushing yourself or seeking enough if you're not scared, which, and that's the same thing. And I've tell people that all the time. I have 3 kids, and I teach them that literally, that's a big thing that I tell them all the time. Like, you should be scared, of things, and that's okay. And, you know, but we're going to learn how to navigate through that, to push yourself in order to be successful within that fear, and to use it to a positive nature, because everyone lives in some sort of fear or has some fear about doing something. But I rather I don't want to spend my life sitting back and going, what if I can sit here and say, I did it and I failed, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
you know, what's really cool too is the more your perspective falls along the line of truth, the more fear is removed.
Yes, for sure. Definitely.
And like that is so evident to me. It happened at the trials. It happened at ADCC. I think it's like that for life in general too. It takes a little bit of effort, a little bit of mental diligence to train your mind, but yeah, it'll all go. It's fantastic.
Awesome.
This is kind of a, I say dumb question, but it's really not. Did jiu-jitsu help you with your education, like thinking process at all?
Like problem solving?
Yeah. Or yes, let's say problem solving. Because we do allude, you know, jiu-jitsu is one of the biggest problem solving things you can do in your life, in my opinion. It's very, you know, hey, I want to solve the Rubik's Cube. Well, go do jiu-jitsu, because you're never going to solve it, but you're going to get better at it, and you're going to keep getting better at it. I try to allude jiu-jitsu to a lot of life things. I haven't really spoken to anyone that is kind of deep in education as what you are right now, Amy. So I'm just curious, like, has your jujitsu on mat stuff projected any kind of help or direction while you were in school, while you're currently in school, you're going to go to grad school and so on and so forth?
So I think yes, in two ways. I think one, as a way to balance the modes I'm learning. And two, I think jujitsu has also been a platform or a boat that I've used to verify a lot of things I've learned in other places, in education, in religion, in life, in communication, in relationships. And at the same time, I've learned things in jujitsu that have transferred over to life, and life has transferred over to jujitsu. So I've been able to see the same principles represented in jujitsu as in other places. And that has been a way to kind of give me a testament of the principles I'm learning, because I've seen it multiple places. So in a way, yes, there was, I think earlier this year during the trials, I was learning a certain set of principles, and I was seeing it show up in school, in like communications classes. I was seeing it show up in like religious studies. And then I was also seeing it be very prevalent in jujitsu. And I was like, look at all these modes of ways we have for learning the same principles of truth. So yes, jujitsu in somewhat of an indirect way has helped to verify things I've learned through the education system.
Nice. Very good. That's perfect. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
That's, I ask weird stuff. I know this. and because I'm curious of how we can translate that stuff to maybe teach other people to get on the mats, to learn to protect themselves, but to know that this is transcendent. It's not just, some brutal thing that people are doing, like choking each other and whatever. I think there's something to jujitsu that's beyond that. It's not just go ahead.
It
Chad.
makes you think. You have to think. You have to be present, right? So if you can relate that to other things outside of jujitsu, even better, right?
Right. Like, one of the first things, like all of the old school guys say in jujitsu, is that jujitsu is not just a martial art, that it's a way of life.
Right.
True.
So when you figure out where the truths are in that, where it ties over into your other aspects of life, you'll understand what they mean.
Truth. Right there. From a young Amy Campo that you've done it from the beginning since we started talking to you, and which is great. So I'm going to put you on a spot here, which I wasn't going to do, but I want to ask you this question.
Shoot, I'm ready.
All right. What's Professor Mori mean to you? That's the art of it. You don't have to answer it. Everyone out there that's listening to audio, Amy's face is very red right now because I put her on the spot, and I have done this to Chad. So Amy, don't feel alone. My own partner in this crime of podcasting. He has someone, and actually a huge mentor that was a huge impact in his life, many, and he actually has a new tattoo on his hand that represents his father, but he also has another tattoo on his forearm that represents someone that got him started in this martial art life.
Yeah.
And so I asked him the same exact question, because Chad has been a participant in the Limitless Radiocast show. And I like to know, he's a mentor to you, Amy. I know that. That's inevitable. Everyone out there that knows you, or anyone that's ever heard of you, should know that. And if you don't, everybody, you're going to find out how to go find her. If you don't, you're going to be able to look her up on Instagram and every freaking other thing. So anyway, what's Professor Mori mean to you?
Eddie has single-handedly made the biggest impact on my life. And I think what's even more pure about it is that he didn't have to, is that he chose to insert himself into my life to help me. And there was no obligation to do that. When I was younger, my dad brought me to train. Mm-hmm. And shortly after it was after like a year or something, my dad couldn't keep up with it, like couldn't keep paying for it. And coach let me keep training. And as Eddie learned more about my family situation, like my parents were starting to go through like a separation and a divorce and stuff. Okay. Eddie took me in more and more to his house, to his family, brought me with him to that environment. And I remember, so not only have we done all this monumental things in jiu-jitsu, but a lot of some of the first things I saw about families, I saw at his house. And I remember looking at the way they interacted, and I was like, families can be this way? Like,
yeah.
So they're like, and he didn't just things in jiu-jitsu, like he helped me develop skills and networking connections with other people outside of the gym. He helped me get like my first cars. Like he's been like a life coach, a life mentor, and not just someone involved in jiu-jitsu. And I've always thought this about any teacher. I think the more the teacher pays attention to the details in their student's life, they care about that attention to detail, and the more concern they have for their students, the more the student is going to learn from them, because there's a bond, there's a trust there. And it's much easier to learn from somebody when there's a trust there. So I don't know how to.
You've already said it. You don't have to say anymore. He's impacted your life a huge amount. It's clear. I know there is other information out there about stuff, and you didn't. And Amy, thank you. Chad and I are very much like, you don't have to say things that you're not comfortable with saying.
No,
so I commend
I'm comfortable.
you.
I just don't know how to.
No. Yeah. Right. I mean, like, you said it greatly, because it's off the cuff. I put you on a spot, and it's pure. So everyone out there understand, like, if you have the ability to help somebody, even if it's just a little bit, then do it. Amy's a prime example of, you know what I mean? Like, I tell people all the time, like, I don't want anything in return. I don't need anything in return, but I want everyone else to be successful. I want those who I meet, if I can say one little thing that they could walk away from their life and go, yes, I needed that. That's the type of stuff that we like to talk about on the show in terms of, projecting people to be better at things. So you said it clearly. Professor Mori had a huge impact on you then, now, and the future. It's going to happen, obviously, because of who you are, the way that you speak, what you're doing. He's never going to not be in your life. And so that's important. And it's awesome to hear. I always love to hear how one person's impact somebody out of selflessness. Like, he didn't have to do it, just like you said, but he wanted to do it.
How do you repay when somebody goes out of their way to show you love genuinely? How, like, I knew growing up, I didn't have that. I didn't have that close care. Like, we have something different than what I had with my parents. I didn't feel connected to my parents growing up. It was just a situation.
Sure.
Like, how do you repay the person who decides to see you and to help you? And I always knew people like this existed, because I'm that kind of person. I knew I wanted to be that. And how did I manage to find somebody who was like that? This is the kind of person I want to be. And I found people like that. They're real.
They exist.
They exist. Yeah.
They exist. Which is awesome. And I personally, look, this is the second time, thank God, that I've had the opportunity to speak with you. And you have already, you're living the payback by your everyday life of what you're doing. You've already carried yourself to show the payback. There's no monetary, physical, there doesn't have to be anything there. I bet you Professor Mori would say, look at that. Like, he can see it. Obviously, this, just like you described earlier, like you seen it in his facial expressions when you won. That's the payback, not just winning ADCC, yes, is he super happy for you? And I don't want to speak for him, obviously. I'm just giving perspective, is that it wouldn't even be that big of a deal. Like, oh, if you never won it or never competed in it. And it's like, you still are living it. You're still doing things that is huge. So don't sell yourself short. Don't think, and I don't believe you think this way, Amy, that, oh, I have to pay him back, because you already are. You already are, by the way that you're living, by what you're doing every single day of your life, treating people the way you're treating, talking the way that you're talking, educating yourself, seeking out education. All that is a payment of someone else going, you know what? I believe in her, and I'm going to make sure that nothing else happens to her, and she just keeps progressing. That's how it is. And that there are people that exist like that, like that want to do that. You know what I mean? So that's good. So don't, you're a good person, Amy. So don't sell yourself short from that standpoint. Not that you are, but just, I want you to know that.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely. Because we only have one life, right? And we have to live our best life. So that's what we do.
If I could do the same thing for some other kid who didn't have opportunity and did guidance, just one person, I would be happy, because I was that kid and somebody did it for me.
Yeah. Pay it forward, right?
Pay it forward. Chad and I talk about that all the time. Like, we're big on, Chad, you would agree with me, right, Chad? Like, we are very big on paying it forward. Like,
we do it all the time. I had a similar situation that Amy did with who Terry referred to, Steve Heineman, who started our gym way back in the day, and he passed away about 7 years ago to cancer. But same type of situation. Like, I had started jiu-jitsu, maybe was in there 3 months, and I had some job changes, and I'm like, hey man, I have to quit for a while. I can't afford this. And he's like, nope, you're not quitting. And I never paid another day. Like, he just took care of it. And then eventually I started teaching and, earning, working for it that way. But, and he only knew me a couple months, he didn't have to do that. So there's a lot of good people out there,
There's definitely a lot of really good people. So.
Yeah.
Well, Amy, we took another hour of your life that you're never, that you're not getting back. And
it was not a waste.
I appreciate it greatly. Can't thank you enough. I obviously, everything you're doing, keep up doing everything you're doing. Do this. I know we said it last time, but we got to put this out there. Share everything and anything you want to say to anybody, and any sponsorships you want to mention or anything, so I can have all that in the show notes so people can click to them and get to them, and obviously find you on social media, unless you don't want anyone to find you, because they're just going to Google you and try to find you anyway.
Gotcha. Okay. So of course, I'll just thank my team and my training partners at Mori Training Center and the affiliation. My coach, Eduardo Mori, and the head affiliation coaches, Robert Drysdale and Marcelo, also helped a lot, and several of the guys from Drysdale's gym. I do have a couple sponsors. FST Filtration is a local sponsor that I have. Wasatch Physical Therapy and Ernie, they have sponsored me several times and taught me how to heal my body, especially before tournaments. Arlo Gangestein is a personal trainer and a masseuse, and he helped me out a little bit before the tournament too, and I was really grateful for what he was able to do. And yeah, my city is right behind me.
Awesome.
Very good. Awesome. Well, Amy, keep doing what you're doing. I can't wait to see some of this traveling seminars and stuff. And I want to see what you're learning, young lady. I want to read about it. I want to see, like, hey, we're learning this, because I'm telling you right now, there's going to be someone that you're going to come across, and it might not be in America, it might be somewhere else. And you're going to be like, that kid needs me. He or she or whatever is going to need me. And I just had that feeling. So keep doing what you're doing. God bless you and your family and everything, all your coaches and everyone that's behind you and supports you. Appreciate them greatly and appreciate you greatly. So, Amy, thank you. Until next time. And everything is going well today and everything is recording. So don't worry, it's going to be out there.
Cool. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Amy. All right, my friend. keep us posted. If you need anything, holler. And if you just want to hear people blab and you want to come on again and talk about nothing, go ahead.
I forgot social media. Yeah, you can find me on Facebook at just Amy Campo, Instagram at amycampofighter. And if you're looking to message me, just message me on Messenger or through Facebook. I will just get back to you faster than on Instagram. Guaranteed.
Very good. So your Facebook, she's a Facebook. Why? This sounds weird to me. I don't know why, because I'm a Facebook guy and I make fun of people who didn't come from MySpace. But Amy, you're probably too young to know what MySpace was.
I think I had MySpace for like a month.
Yeah. And I used to make fun of people. I'm like, oh, you're still on MySpace. I'm on Facebook. And now people are like, you're on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm like, shut up. So, all right, Amy, thank you so much. We'll see you down the road. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you, Amy.
Bye.